how many households in United States? Okay. This is a big deal that I'm about to bring up. How many total households do you believe are in the United States today?
Well, this counts like apartments and condos.
Yes.
Ah, that's why. Okay, I thought we were like properties.
130 plus million households in the United States. Okay. And as we all know, everybody wants to have a share of that 130 million. And most of the time there's not an overlap, right? You're not going to see a Frontier fiber and an AT&T fiber in the same location. Today there's some places in Houston that I know of that there's a Comcast fiber and AT&T fiber, but the Comcast fiber came second because it got upgraded, right, from cable Comcast, right? So there is going to be some minor overlap, but for the majority, there's always going to be two players, a cable and a fiber, right? In most places nowadays. So if AT&T is going to get to 30 by 2025, if Frontier plus Verizon is going to get to 30, and then T-Mobile is also saying that they're going to get to 30 by 2030, right? They already said this. So now we're at a 90 million, and these smaller guys are going to get the rest, you know? So ultimately, there's going to be a point where there will be multiple fiber providers at an address because there's not going to be any more virgin households of fiber where
I mean,
there's
even
no.
even in the areas with new builds, Moose, it's like Spectrum and AT&T out here. They
Yeah,
both go in together. Yeah,
that's right. There's
yeah.
always going to be two now. That's great
Hmm.
for competition and that's great for the consumer. Now, in terms of the company standpoint, they still want to have only one option, right? Because then it's your only option is that option. But here's the other thing that people forget. There's 130 million-ish households today, but how many are actually occupied? That's something that is never a stat, but we can figure that out because not all 130 are occupied, which that means that not every single location is going to be turned on. If you have 100 new fiber locations, this is where the penetration rate that they keep talking about is, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
If you have 100 locations today, AT&T is saying that they have close to a 40% penetration rate. So 4 out of the 10 are going to be turned on. The 6 are either vacant homes, nobody lives there, nobody's getting service from there, or there's another competitor that already has it, right? One of the 3 options. So eventually we're going to get to a point, to reiterate my point, that there's going to be people that are going to have multiple fiber options, right? Today, in certain parts of the country, there's multiple cable options at one location, especially in Michigan, right? My buddy
You
has
got
5
regional
different
guys.
cable.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
got regional guys, and then you got the big guys like Spectrum.
right.
Yeah. You know, it's
Oh my God.
interesting, Moose. We discuss penetration rate all the time here. You know, the 40% mark seems to be like the golden number. You know, if you can get to 40%, you're kind of doing well, right? If you're in the mid 30s, you know, you're shooting for the upper 30s. Like it's always a number we monitor, and it's big for fiber builders. They didn't mention anything about penetration rate in this deal. They
Hmm.
did mention NPS scores, but they didn't mention penetration rate. And you know, Verizon does a hell of a job with Fios and penetration. It's over 40%. AT&T, for its credit, their fiber I think is at 36 or 37%. So if Frontier doesn't have that type of penetration rate, well, what the hell is the problem? I think it's the fact that they have a lot of DSL still.
I think it's
And
also the brand too. They don't have a strong brand. So I think that gets fixed when Verizon comes in, and hopefully that improves. But again, Sneed, you and I have discussed this privately before. That's one of the disadvantages, in my opinion, to fiber to the prim. You wire up 100 homes based on what you guys are saying from a percentage standpoint. If you wire up 100 homes, you're lucky to get 40 people
Yep.
as customers.
All
And
right,
and
Right.
but
hold up.
but you still have to
wire them
service
up.
and
Yeah.
maintain all 100. That's a whole. That's
Here's
really
the
a.
thing. When Verizon sold all their property, their landline service to Frontier, it was too expensive for them to build fiber. Right. That's what they sold it. But now not anymore. because they have the capability to build it, the quote unquote machine that Moose was talking about. So it's a lot cheaper to build the fiber now than it was back then, right? The cost per mile, as they say, right?
Well, because
So
you're not starting from scratch. When Verizon
no,
sold it,
true.
they would have had to start from scratch. That was mostly copper down there.
Yeah.
When Verizon started Fios, which was fiber to the prim, when everyone else was saying it was, including AT&T, they were saying it was too expensive. Yeah, I said it. When that happened in the South, they still had copper down there. Fios started in the Northeast. Fiber to the prim started in the Northeast. So now you fast forward to today, the fiber's already been built. To Moose's point, Frontier did a great job. They have upgraded huge portions of their network. The fiber's already built. That's why the merger and acquisition is happening right now, because they already did all the tough work.
Yeah.
So now
true.
Verizon can come in with a stronger brand and go to market, go to the customer and say, well, do you trust us? And maybe the customer says yes, maybe the customer says no, but at least now you have open for sales. You have passable addresses that you can actually go and talk to now, that you can sell to now. And if you can get them, it's easier to be able to convince, for example, a fiber internet customer to be able to have a converged offering than it is a new product such as fixed wireless. But to Verizon's credit, one of the assets that they have is both. They can allow the customer to choose which one they want in case the customer doesn't want somebody, for example, in their house drilling holes in their wall. They can go to a fixed wireless product and still offer a converged solution for that customer.
SMT Nation, it is time for me to introduce to you Aura. Give you guys an incredible suite of cybersecurity protections to keep everything that you do online safe, keeping you safe from identity theft, scams, online threats, including protections for your entire family. They offer pretty much a worry-free trial period. Obviously, the pricing is very competitive, starting at $12 per month. They've got one simple and easy app for you to use. They've got incredible features, $1 million in coverage, 24/7 expert fraud support, transparent pricing, the money-back guarantee at 60 days with a free trial, no strings attached. So with the odds of falling victim to an online crime being 1 in 4, this would change everything. Really should check them out. The financial fraud protection is worth its weight in gold. Help keep your kids protected within boundaries that you set forth for them. Proven to be the fastest, most reliable fraud alert system. And it's as simple as choosing your plan, simply setting up how you're enrolled, and then getting notified for all the things that it's monitoring. Start your free trial now. Use our link. It's down in the description, and it's also here on the screen, aura.com/Sneed. You guys can click the URL. It's hyperlinked down in the description. And again, it's up here on the screen, aura.com/Sneed. Protect yourself from all the digital threats that's out there in the world.